Hello and welcome to 21 Questions. It's a trivia podcast. My name is Mike Van Acker and I'm glad you're here. Let's play. Question 1. Which fairy tale has a witch that lives in a gingerbread house decorated with, I'm going to say lollies, but for American people, candy, sweets, you know what I mean. That's Hansel and Gretel, or Hansel and Gretel in the Australian accent. Question 2. What kind of grass is a panda's main food source? That would be bamboo. Now, pandas are life's natural clowns. I don't know if you've watched them on YouTube, but they fall down a lot. They're very funny. Curiously, every panda in the world belongs to the Chinese government. So if you see a panda at a zoo somewhere, they are on loan from the Chinese. No one can own a panda. True story. Question 3. Which war was the backdrop to the TV sitcom MASH? That would be the Korean War. The Korean War ran from 25 June 1950 to 27 June 1953, and it's a well-established fact that the TV show MASH actually ran 3 times longer than the war itself did. Question 4 is always a true or false. Here we go. True or false? Prince George of Cambridge is currently 3rd in line to the British throne. That's actually false. Prince George is 2nd in line to the throne, his dad being 1st, his sister Princess Charlotte being 3rd. Prince George will turn 13 in July. Question 5. Name the singers who sang the #1 hit Cruisin' as featured in the 2000 movie Duets. That was a movie about karaoke, as I recall, and it featured a singer doing some acting and an actor doing some singing. The singer doing the acting was Huey Lewis, and the actor doing the singing was Gwyneth Paltrow. Question 6. Which is the only fruit to grow its seeds on the outside? That is the strawberry. Now, strawberry, dodgy name because they are not in fact actually true berries. By definition, a berry has its seeds on the inside, so to a botanist, the strawberry is considered an aggregate accessory fruit. I don't know what that means, but I do know how to read it off the internet, and I've just done that. But I will tell you, the seeds on the outside of a strawberry technically aren't in themselves seeds. Those little specks on the outside are actually tiny individual dry fruits, and each one of those contains a single seed. There is a whole heap of information that A, you didn't need, and B, you probably don't care about. I'm sorry, I'm such a nerd. Question 7. According to National Geographic, which of the following is the world's fastest land animal? Is it the lion, the greyhound, or the cheetah? I thought to myself when I wrote this question, is the greyhound faster than a cheetah? But it turns out not at all. The fastest is the cheetah. Lion's top speed 80 kilometres an hour, still pretty quick. Greyhound 64 kilometres an hour, and the cheetah way up there at 112 kilometres an hour. So the cheetah would get booked in most Australian highway conditions. Good to know. After question 7, we do the first clues for the EPS Who Am I? Today it's a person. Who am I? I was born June 22, 1949 in Summit, New Jersey. I attained a degree in drama and costume design and then graduated from Yale School of Drama in 1975. My first film role was in Julia in 1977, and the following year I was nominated for my first Oscar for The Deer Hunter. Do you know who that is yet? One of the most famous actors in the world. There's a little clue I haven't given you yet that will narrow it down significantly, but I will just tell you this. The person you're thinking of, you're probably wrong right now. Tricky, I know. And I apologise if you're right. Honestly, who am I to be making assumptions like that? In any case, more clues coming up after question 14. For now, let's do question 8, which goes like this. Which abbreviated word means a device used for capturing and projecting sound and is also the Roman numeral equivalent to 1099? The answer to that, a device used for capturing and projecting sound, is mic. A mic, M-I-C, the abbreviated word. I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of Roman numerals. I don't really get why we need them. I realise they're a valid area of trivia, so I put them in every now and then, but honestly, it's a bit of a yawn. Question 9. What's the colonel's name in the board game Cluedo? That's Colonel Mustard. Question 10. Which cartoon character did Robin Williams play in his first starring movie role? It was in 1980. Robin Williams' first movie role was starring as Popeye in Popeye. It did not go well for him, but of course he went on to do Good Morning Vietnam not too long after, and the rest, as they say, is history. Question 11. True or false, in Swahili, Simba is the word for lion. Now, that's actually true, so that means that in The Lion King, when they called him Simba, they were really just calling him Lion. That's like me calling my son Human or Boy Child. Anyway, question 12. Which English Premier League football team are known as the Red Devils? And I'll give you multiple choice. Is it Manchester United? Is it West Ham? Or is it Arsenal? So that's one of those ones, if you're an EPL fan, you know immediately that it's Man United. But if you don't know, I gave you multiple choice. Manchester United. Good one. Question 13 is another movie question. There's a fair bit of movie content today. In the animated movie Madagascar, what kind of animal was Marty? Marty was a zebra. Madagascar was one of those movies that I saw all of eventually. My son loved it when he was very small, but I never watched it right from the beginning, but I've seen all of it 20 times, just in chunks. Question 14, here's some hardcore geography for you. In which European country is the Zugspitze, the highest mountain? I could better spell that for you before I get in trouble for the pronunciation. Zugspitze. Zugspitze, yeah? In which European country is the Zugspitze the highest mountain? That would be Germany, and I apologise both to the Zugspitze mountain, the Germans in general, and anyone who is offended by my flagrantly poor pronunciation. Never mind, we'll just press on. More clues now for the Who Am I. If you remembered, it's the American person, degree in drama, costume design, went to the Yale School of Drama, was in The Deer Hunter. More clues, here we go. Who am I? I've won 3 Academy Awards for Kramer vs. Kramer in 79, Sophie's Choice in 82, and The Iron Lady in 2011. I have received 21 Academy Award nominations, more than any other performer ever, and I hold the record for the most Golden Globe nominations with 33. Very successful lady. Final clues after question 20. For now though, question 15. Is India or China the most populated country in the world? Now here's the thing, a few years ago the answer was China, but it's now India with 1.47 billion people. China's second with approximately 1.41 billion people. I haven't counted them all, but it's lots. Now, China used to be the most populated country in the world, but their population for the last 4 years has been going backwards, and that's true for a lot of countries in the world. There are over 60 countries around the world right now that have a shrinking population. That would include Russia, Japan, Italy, South Korea. 60 different countries going backwards. There you go. Question 16. How many James Bond movies has Shirley Bassey sang the theme song for? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Shirley Bassey sang the theme song to Goldfinger in 1964, to Diamonds Are Forever in 1971, and Moonraker, which I think 1977, 78, thereabouts. There you go. She's sung the theme song for 3 James Bond movies. Good on you, Shirls. Fun fact about James Bond, Sam Neill, who we talked about a couple of episodes ago in the Who Am I, was in the running to play James Bond at one point, before Timothy Dalton but after Roger Moore. Can you picture Sam Neill as James Bond? I don't know if I can, but good on him. That's question 16 done. Question 17. If you were to execute a downward-facing dog, are you doing yoga or Tai Chi? Downward-facing dog, you're doing yoga. Question 18. Is the song Whistle While You Work from Cinderella or Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Whistle While You Work, that's from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Question 19 is always a still alive or not so much. I give you a name, you tell me if you think that person is still alive or not so much. Today, Cat Stevens, sometimes referred to now as Yusuf Islam. He had hits with Father and Son, Matthew and Son, Peace Train, a whole bunch of great songs. Is Cat Stevens still alive or not so much? Cat Stevens, he's still alive. He's 77. He was born Stephen Dimitri Giorgio. Chose the name Cat Stevens, and then when he converted to Islam, chose the name Yusuf Islam. Good-o. Question 20, a music question for you. Which Beach Boys song has the lyric, "She was gonna be my wife, and I was gonna be her man"? That would be Help Me Rhonda. Remember that one? Good song. Okay, final clues for the Who Am I now. Who am I? I've gone on to star in some of the biggest movies ever, including Mamma Mia and the Devil Wears Prada franchise. I am one of the most enduring stars at the box office. I am, of course, Meryl Streep. Easy peasy. Okay, that is the 21 questions I promised you done. Now we move on to the player questions. That's where you, the listener, can, if you choose to, send me a trivia question for me to include in this section of the show. Last episode, Gillian sent in the 1960s song by Donovan, Mellow Yellow. What is Mellow Yellow? Apparently, there's a drug reference in there. I googled it, and it turns out Mellow Yellow was rumoured to be the smoking of dried banana skins. I'm not even kidding. It was a bit of a hoax in the 1960s. It was known as the banana dine hoax. 1960s urban legend, and it was that scraping and smoking the white fibres of a banana peel produced a hallucinogenic effect. Please don't do that. Number one, just don't do that. And number two, it's not real anyway. Good. This is awkward. We'll move on. This episode, Liz has sent me a sport question. Now, Australians will get it. The English will get it. Some Americans and Canadians will get it. That's where most of my listeners are, because it's a cricket question. Now, America and Canada, you both have cricket teams, okay? I know it's not a big sport over there, but it will be one day, so we'll press on with it. Liz asks, how many Australians have taken a hat trick in Test cricket, in brackets, men's? Well, thank you, Liz. I don't normally do sport-specific questions or Australian-specific sport questions, but because you sent it in, I'm happy to go with it. We'll do the answer to that next episode. Thank you very much. If you'd like to send me a trivia question for this section of the show, like Gillian and Liz have done, there's two ways to get it to me. 21 Questions by Trivia Tribe is my Facebook page. 21 Questions by Trivia Tribe. Write that down. Is my Facebook page. Send me a message from there. Or mike@triviatribe.com.au is my email address. I will acknowledge your message either way, let you know that I've got it, add it to the list, and at some point in the future, your question will appear in this section of the show. Okay, thank you very much for listening. If you could take a second to review the show on the podcast app you're listening to right now, that would be awesome. This podcast comes out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I would love it if you could meet me back here in a couple of days. We'll do it all again. I've been Mike Van Acker. I love you. Catch you next time.